Hello everyone. Today in this video lesson we learn about C programming. C programming is a language which is an evergreen language. All the computer science students start learning from the C programming language. So where we start from C programming language means we have to learn the history of C programming. So the basic history of C programming is it is a language evolved from ALGOL, algorithmic language, BCPL, B, then we have a C. So C has a rich set of data types. So this is a language which is invented by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972. C is a programming language which has a rich set of features like it is a modular, portable, robust. It is a middle level language as it supports both high level programming as well as low level programming. So with these features, C language is an evergreen language. So to learn the C language, we start with learning basic structure of C programming. That means how we have to write our C programming. So we need a basic idea. That means what are the things and have to locate them in C programming. So in this video lesson, I would like to explain basic structure of C programming and how to run the C programming in Turbo C editor. Okay. So with this, we'll go into the basic structure of C programming. A C programming is divided into different sections. There are 6 main sections: documentation section, link section, definition section, global declaration section, main functions, and subprograms. So we'll just see a picture how they are all allocated. So this is the way how we allocate the C program. First section is the documentation section. Next is the link section, definition section, global declaration section, main function, and different functions. So the new word what we are hearing here is main function, sub functions. So main function is the part where our program starts executing. So every C program requires main function mandatorily. So every C program requires a main function where our program starts executing. So that main function calls all other functions. All other functions are nothing but the functions which are written in subprogram section. And one more thing here, what we need to remember here is all other functions are not mandatory. It is required to be written only when we have a need. For example, if we take an example of library system, if you write a C program for the library system, there will be a different modules. So each module can be written as a different function. So the complex task is divided into different tasks. So the same way the different functions are allocated in C program so that everything can be called into the main function. So next we'll go into the each and every section of this basic structure of C program. So documentation section, as the name indicates, it documents the whole C program. Documents means it tells what is our C program is intended for. So it tells what is our program, what kind of information, what kind of program is this, whether this program is for finding a total of the school children's marks, or whether the program is for finding the Fahrenheit, or whether it is applicable for the finding the any data. Is it intended for any scientific application? Like that, it is used for different applications. That means it tells the C program is intended for which application, and it also tells who has written the program and where when it has written, and the time and date of the program. So what is the need of this? So whenever this is all written in the program, this will be applicable. I mean, this will be helpful for the other people, whoever comes again to the program and whoever wants to know about the program. So the documentation section, where the programmer gives the details associated with the program. The details associated with the program. He usually gives the name of the program, basic thing, the details of the author who has written the program, and other details like the time of coding and description. Description tells the logic what he has used. For finding something, what he has used. Right? Next, comment section. So using the comments, we write the documentation section. So documentation section can be given with the comments. So comments are used to write something which tells about our C programming, right? So what is the program is intended for? So here the comments are written in 2 lines, that is single line comment, multi-line comment. Single line comment is written with 2 slashes. 2 slashes it will be written. So which tells only 1 line of instruction what is our program is for. Here I have given the example, what is an author, who is an author. So it is only a single line, only with the 2 lines. Whereas the multi-line comment, it is written as slash followed by asterisk and the lines ended with an asterisk and slash, which tells it is an multi-line comment. Here, the thing what we have to remember is compiler does not consider the comments. The work of compiler is to convert the high-level language instructions into machine instructions. So compiler does not have any work with the comments. Comments are only helpful for the user. The programmer writes, these are the comments, I am using it for the program. So there is no need of compiler to convert these comments into machine instructions. So this is the idea of documentation section, and documentation section is not mandatory. Compulsorily, we don't require to write the documentation section. Next is link section. Linking the header files into our program. So our program does not write everything in the program. It takes help of some files which consists of some data that helps to execute our program. So what are these files? These files are called header files, and these header files are stored at C library. We call them as system library, system softwares which help us to execute our C program. So link section is used to connect the header files into our program so that it will help the information to execute our C program. Let's see here, this part of the code is used to declare all the header files. All the header files, that means all the information whichever we use for the execution, that will be used in the program. This leads to the compiler being told to link the header files to the system libraries. To link the header files to the system libraries. We are using this header files, link these header files to the system library. System library is nothing but the C library which holds all these information which is required to execute into our program. Example for this, hash. We call it as hash sometimes, but actually the symbol name is called pound symbol. Pound followed by include. Include is the keyword in C language. Keyword is nothing but the predefined words in C library. C library is fed with some words. These are the words used for some data. So predefined word. Hash include followed by standard input output header file. So this standard input output header file is used to include input output information into my program. So I use this linker file. That means this header file link to my file to add input output into my program. So hash is using hash followed by include followed by header file is the format to link the header file into my program, right? Next section is the definition section. This section is used to declare constants into the program. We use constants because our programs are used for scientific purpose also. Simple constant, as we all know, pi is a constant. The value of pi is equivalent to 22/7 sometimes. I mean, we take it as 22/7, otherwise we take it as 3.14. This can be defined in definition section. So it is defined as, in this section, we define different constants. The keyword define, remember, include was the keyword. Define is the keyword using here. The keyword is used in this part. That means here it is written as hash followed by define followed by pi. Pi is a constant which is given with some value. So somewhere in your program, whenever you use pi, pi is substituted with 3.14. For this reason, we use constants defined in definition section. So hash followed by define followed by constant name followed by value, right? Hash define pi is equivalent to 3.14. Next, another example I have given you, hash define square of x. It is a formula. It is a formula where I am writing x in place of some value. If square of 10 is written, 10 into 10 is replaced, right? So I am defining some formula here. Instead of writing every time x into x, some other equation also, I write it as some definition here. So it replaces every time with that value. So this is the intention of using definition section. Remember, this is also not mandatory. So we have finished the 3 sections: documentation section, link section, and definition section. Documentation section is not mandatory, whereas link section is mandatory because we use all input output information into our program. So link section is important, whereas definition section is not important. Not important in the sense it can be used or it cannot be used, right? Next is global declaration section. So before going into this section, I would like to tell you, whenever we use something to perform a task, those things we call it as variables. Suppose if I come to your class, I want to take a class, what do I take? I want a chalk and I want a blackboard. So those 2 are the variables to perform a task. What is my task? To perform a class, I mean to teach a class, right? Same way, if I want to perform addition of 2 numbers, so I will take 3 variables. 2 variables to store the two values and other variable to store the result of these 2. So 3 variables, totally 3 variables I am using into my program. So I call these 3 are variables. Don't worry, we will learn in depth of these variables into this C programming. So there are three variables which we are going to use. So these variables must be intimated to the compiler. So intimating that I am going to use these variables in my program is called declaration, variable declaration. So this variable declaration is two types here. One is local declaration, another thing is global declaration. So local declaration means whenever the variables are declared inside the main function are called local declaration, and the variables are called local variables, and the variables which are declared outside the main are called global declaration, and those variables are called global variables. Here comes a question. What is the difference, ma'am? Only the declaration place? No. The variables, the local variables are accessible only within the main function. Their accessibility is only within the main function. Whereas the global variables accessibility is throughout the program. They can be accessible in the main section as well as they are accessible in the sub-programs also. So in this section, we declare the variables outside the main. So these variables are called global variables, and this declaration is called global variable declaration. So see here, this part of the code is the part where the global variables are declared. All the global variables used are declared in this part. All the global variables throughout the program, wherever you use the variables, all are declared here. The user-defined functions are also declared in this part of the code. Here in the C programming, we'll be having two types of functions: user-defined functions, built-in functions. So we will come across while going into the depth of the syllabus. So user-defined functions and built-in functions, and user-defined functions are also declared here, right? So the variables are here. The area is a variable, whereas A is also a variable which is declared outside the main. This is called global declaration section. Next part is main function section. Main function section. So main function, what is the function? Function is nothing but a set of instructions which are grouped together in a curly braces and which are intended for performing any task, right? So suppose if I want to perform an addition of two numbers, so I have to take two numbers, add them and send the result, right? For that reason we use main function. So that is written in main. So every C program is required to write main function compulsorily. Okay, main is written compulsorily. So in main we write what we require. So every C program needs to have the main function. That is compulsory. That is compulsory. Like helmet is compulsory or when you go on the road. So every C program requires main function because our program starts execution from main. So in main, you will have two parts again. Declaration part, as we have seen in the picture in the previous slide. Declaration part, execution part. Declaration part is, I have told you in the global declaration part, you will declare the variables what are going to be used in your program. What are the things you are going to use in your program? So they are called declaration. That means the meaning is telling to the compiler that you are going to use them in your program. So that is the declaration part. Next is execution. You are declaring that you want addition of two numbers and that is used in somewhere else. So you have three variables A, B, C. You want to add A and B and store the result into C. So C is equal to A plus B is an execution part. So this is mandatory in your main function. So the declaration part is the part where all the variables are declared, whichever you are going to use in your program. The execution part begins with the curly brackets and ends with the closed curly brace. Right? Execution part exactly does what you want to execute in your main function. So it's a simple example program. Right? What do you have here? Integer main. Main is a function. Right? Main is a function. Void is an empty data type. Integer is a data type. Right? So inside integer a equals to 10. So 10 is the value assigned to a. And integer is the data type. Right? So the meaning is whenever you go, you declare a variable, it assigns a place like this. So you declared a variable called integer a equals to 10. So it is a place where it is assigned a place for a. So this is a place a you are going to use in your program. In that you are assigning a value called 10. Right? The meaning is in this function you have declared a. So you are going to use a where you have a place allocated to you, a memory allocated to you, where you have assigned 10 into a. So this is what happened when you declare and initialize. This is the statement where you are declaring there is an a of integer. That means this a can hold only integers and you can place 10 into a. Okay. So after that, you are executing that print a. So you are printing 10 onto the screen. So this part is an declaration part, whereas this part is an execution part. As you are writing the main function as integer, that means your operating system is calling your main. You are not returning anything to your operating system. So you will write return 0. Okay, when you learn the functions concept, you can understand what is the return, what it will return. Okay, so this is the simple program. Next, after main function, main function section, subprogram section. All the user-defined functions are defined in this section of the program. So, see here, this is also a function where add is a function name. These two are called arguments, are parameters. Okay, some terminology is there. So these are called arguments, are parameters, and integer is a data type. It returns integer, and this is the function. What the function is doing? The function has to perform some action. What is this function doing? It is taking a and it is taking b and it is performing the sum of a and b and it is returning to the function who is calling it. Who is calling it? Somebody who is calling it, and they are passing two parameters, that is a and b. They are passing. They are sending 3 and 4 and asking the other person to do. So who is that other person? They are the subprogram. They are doing the addition and they were sending the result back. What is the result back? Return a plus b. They are sending a plus b back to the calling function. So we'll see a sample program. The C program here will find the area of a circle using a user-defined function and a global variable pi holding the value of pi. Right? So see here, you can understand what are the things. File name, area of circle.c, date, So I am writing the multi-line comment. So multi-line comment is ended with slash star. Actually, single star slash star is enough. Asterisk, we call it as asterisk, followed by slash. So it is a multi-line comment, and it is my header file. Header file link section. See, link section. See, I am writing it as single line comment. Compiler does not take it into execution. So single line comment, and it is my standard input output header file. Definition section, where I am writing pi as 3.14. So wherever I get pi, that is replaced with 3.14. This is called definition section. So hash define pi, where it is written as 3.14. So it is my documentation section, and this is my link section. This is my definition section. Whereas coming here, it is my global declaration. Right? I am declaring an area as a variable where it is of type float. Okay? So global declaration. Next, main function, integer main, float r. Right? See, this is my local variable. This is my local variable. And see, these two are the new things. This is called as standard output function. Whatever you want to print onto the screen, you use the standard output function called printf. So whatever you write like this, that will be printed onto the screen directly. So enter the radius. Next is the scanf. Scanf is the standard input function. It takes input from the keyboard. These two will work only when you have this link. Only when you have this link. What does this link do? This link is linking to the header file. That header file is nothing but standard input output header file. So to work printf scanf perfectly in my program, I need to link it to the header file, that is standard input output header file. So with that help, I can execute my printf scanf perfectly. So in next classes, we'll see the syntaxes of printf and scanf. Syntax means how they are working, how we need to write. So simply you understand here, printf is used for standard output and scanf is used for standard input. To take the input from keyboard, we use scanf. To write the output onto the screen, that means the monitor, we write printf. So printf scanf, enter the radius, take the radius, and scanf to read the radius, to store the value. Previously I have shown you, for A, you are storing the value 10 into A. I have shown you, I have drawn a box where we have stored 10 into A. Right? For that same way, here the R value is read from the keyboard and that is stored at the place of 10. And print the area. What is that area? You are writing here. So here the area is acting as function. Area is acting as function where you are passing the parameter R. So that means what is this here? It is the user defined function. User defined function with the parameter R. So area function you are called and return 0 because you are using int. So you are returning 0. Next is function subprogram. In subprogram you are writing an area where you are passing the parameter R, where you are passing pi into R into R. Pi R square is the area of circle. So this is the subprogram, right? So next, this is an output of your program. So enter the radius. Radius I have passed it as 7. So pi 3.14 into 7 into 7, the result is 153.860001. Right? Like this, you can see your output onto the screen. Next, creating and running C program. creating and running a C program. So how to create and how to run a program. To create and execute C programs in the Windows operating system, we need to install Turbo C software. So using Turbo C software, you can use your program. We use the following steps to create and execute C program in Windows OS. OS is nothing but operating system. In Windows operating system, how to use your Turbo C is shown here. So these are the steps. Step 1, this is step 1, create source code. That means you write the source code, what you want to write. Write a program in the editor and save it with .c file extension. Right, that is the first step. Step 2, press Alt F9 or compile the source code, which compiles your code. Okay, Alt F9 to compile. Alt plus F9, compile the source code. Next, run the source code, that is Control F9. Using Alt F5, you can take down this screenshot. This will be helpful for executing your C program anywhere. So write a program in the editor, save it with C file, .c file extension, and step 2, compile the source code with Alt F9 and run the executable code, that is .exe file. Next, for checking the output, you use Alt F5. So this gives you a better understanding of how your file will be executed. See here, first picture. So simply, this is your source file. That means whatever you want to write, you will be writing here. So this is saved as sample.c, right? After this, you are compiling. How you are compiling? Alt plus F9, compile your program. Compile means it has to be converted. Compiler does two works. It converts it into machine code and it also tells if there are any errors. So after writing this source file, when you go with Alt F9, it goes to the compiler. Compiler checks for errors. If there are errors, it goes back to the code and checks and asks for checking any errors. Again, you do Alt F9. That means compile. Go to the compiler. If there are errors, it runs around this. If there are no errors, it makes an object file. We call it as obj file. So your sample.c is become sample.obj. Your sample.c is become sample.obj. Then it will link to the file. What are the linker do? Linker will link the header files. As we spoke already, standard input-output header file is to be loaded, is to be added to your file so that your program can execute perfectly. So your obj file is linked with your header files. You can see on the screen, your obj file is linked with your header files. So linker will match all the information required to execute. Then that file will be becoming your .exe file. .exe file is nothing but executable file, which is ready for execution. Then you run the program. Control F9. Control F9 is used to run your file. Directly in your Turbo C editor, you will be seeing a run file. Using run file also, you can run command will be there. Using that run command also, you can execute. So it goes to the processor. Processor will execute. Then you can see your output, user screen, that is output, using the command called Alt F5. Take down this screenshot. This will help you forever to execute your C program. Hope you have understood. With this, I will move forward. Next is flow of execution. This is what we have seen already. This is another way of showing. So editor or IDE in Turbo C, editor or IDE, write the source code first step, which is written as in source code. You will be having .h files as well as your source code .c files. Then it goes to the preprocessor. So it will be pre-processed. So your .h files will be pre-processed and your .c files will be processed. Then includes the files, that means .h files will be included, replace the symbols, and it goes to the compiler. So after compiler, it makes it as obj file, dot obj file. Okay, object codes. Then it links to your library files, static libraries. So then after linking, it goes to, makes it as link and edit. That means if any changes are there after compiler, before going to link, it makes some changes. So then you will be having an exe file. After exe file, it goes to the loader. Who will perform this loading? Operating system will perform this loading and operation. After this, DLL files, shared libraries will be added to this. Then it goes to the processing. Input will be coming here and your output will be coming out here. So this is an execution. So when you give build option, so it will build the process, and when you give and run option, it will load the program into the ready exe file will be loading into your operating system, and it will go to the execution. This will be performed by your CPU. Next, the work of preprocessor. What does the preprocessor do? The preprocessor is not a part of the compiler. It is not a part of the compiler, but is a separate step in the compilation process. In the compilation process, it's one of the steps. In simple terms, a C processor is just a text substitution tool, and it instructs the compiler to do required preprocessing before the actual compilation. Before the actual compilation, it just makes to pre-process, that means ready to work on. So we will refer to the C preprocessor as CPP. Okay, so preprocessors, as initially I have told you, preprocessor directives, hash define, hash include, these are all the examples we have spoken already. So instead of max array length, we replace it with 20. This is for including standard input output header file. This is the other way of including the header file. This is our own header file, user defined header files. This is another way. These are the preprocessors which are already processed in the library. Next is a compiler. A compiler is a software program that transforms high-level source code that is written by a developer in a high-level programming language into low-level object code. Okay, so which is nothing but a machine language which can be understood by the processor. Processor can understand easily what you are writing. A compiler translates the code written in one language to some other language without changing the meaning of the program. Without changing the meaning of the program, compiler changes code from one language to other language. Examples: GCC compilers. The special types of compilers are source-to-source compilers, bytecode compilers, WAM, just-in-time compilers. Just-in-time compilers are, we'll come across with that in the coming classes. So linker, as I have told you, linking header files to your common C program. So in high-level language, some built-in header files or libraries are stored. These libraries are predefined, and those contain basic functions which are essential for executing the program. They have basic functions like printf and scanf. For execution of printf and scanf, we require header files. These functions are linked to the libraries by the program called linker. Linker will link our program with our header files. To execute printf and scanf, we have to link this with standard input output header file. So this will be done by linker. So if linker does not find, if the linker is not available, a library of a function, then it informs to compiler, and then compiler generates an error. The work of compiler is to generate an error if they don't find anything required to execute, and it has to transform, that means translate from high-level instruction to machine instruction. The compiler automatically invokes the linker as the last step in compiling a program. It also links the user-defined functions to the user-defined libraries. Usually a longer program is divided into smaller subprograms called modules. This is all done by linker, and these modules must be combined to execute the program. The process of combining the modules is done by the linker. This is what the example I have taken for library. Each task is divided as other modules, and they are all compiled, and they are all linked together to perform the operation. So this is all linking of different modules into one place is done by linker. So finally, the loader. Loader is a program that loads machine codes of a program into the system memory. So whatever we write, that will be converted into process, preprocessor, linker will be working, compiler will be working, and everything is made into .exe file. So that must be loaded into memory. In computing, a loader is a part of an operating system that is responsible for loading your program. So your program will be loaded into processor. It is one of the essential stages in the process of starting a program because it places the programs into memory and prepares them for execution. This is all ready. You are ready with your .exe file. So somebody has to push them into your memory and it has to work in the processor so that your program will be executed. Loading a program involves reading the contents of executable file into memory. .exe file must be loaded into read from the memory, read into the memory. Once loading is complete, the operating system starts the program by passing control to the loaded program code. So operating system gives control to your loaded program. Your program is ready for execution, so your OS will give a command to execute. So all operating systems that support program loading have loaders. In many operating systems, the loader is permanently resident in memory. Okay? So this is what I want to tell you when I want to cover in this video lesson. So we have got an idea of structure of C program. What are the steps required? What are the steps involved in writing a C program? And we have seen how the program is run in Turbo C editor. In next video lesson, we'll take 2 or 3 programs and we will execute them in Turbo C software so that we can have a better idea of execution of C programming in the Turbo C editor. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you have any doubts, please comment in the given box.